Hi, everybody. Let's turn this down. Let me know if it's too low, if the music's too low. I was just outside showing Sam's Nan and Granddad the chickens, and then I went to check on their water to see if they had enough water and realized that there was a giant bumblebee drowning in the water. And I was like, oh my God. So it's like, chat will understand if I take an extra minute to save a bee. Ugh. Okay. Here we go. Oh, no, they're still learning like what food is, if that makes sense. So they weren't even trying. It's not like our old chickens. They don't try to eat bugs. They are really tentative about eating like normal fruits and vegetables. So no, they were just watching it. They were just watching it struggle to live. I was like, okay. So I fished it out, but it was huge. It was like this big. So I fished it out and put it on a plant and was like, live, little buddy. It's worse than eating it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were just watching it die. Like, what is that? But welcome to the stream, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Clarky's been sick for a couple of days. She's doing a lot better today, though. So I'm glad about that. That was why there was no super cousin time. And originally, I was going to just join Teary. And like not stream so that if I had to step away a lot, it like wasn't a huge deal. But then literally right as we were starting, Clark had a horrible nightmare and was like terrified to be left alone. And I was like, okay. So I laid with her for a little bit, but she like could not get back to sleep because it was one of those situations where every time she closed her eyes, she thought about the nightmare. So I just messaged Teary like, I don't think I could join you. I'll let you know if that changes, but I think I maybe need to stay in here. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I know. But yeah, it turned out, because I had said like, oh yeah, Clark and I had a really rough morning on Friday's stream. And then Sam went to pick her up from school. And one of the teachers was like, we've had a lot of big feelings today. And Sam was like, yeah, my wife said that there were a lot of big feelings this morning. Got her home. He felt her and was like, she feels hot. Like, I think she's sick. And he messaged me while we were doing Geekenders and was like, hey, Clark says she's got a headache and her body hurts and she's got a fever. And I'm not going to keep her awake. I'm just going to let her fall asleep. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And yeah, it just so happened that she woke up literally. She had woken up a couple of times for just a second, but she woke up and was just awake right as Super Cousin time was going to start. The next day, though, she was just kind of tired, but like mostly felt fine. In the morning, she was very touch and go, but by the time afternoon rolled around, she was just kind of like felt fine, but was more tired than usual. I was like, okay. And then our niece and nephew were supposed to come over today, and Clark was all concerned, like, I don't know where my mask is. I don't want to get them sick, which is very sweet. And I was like, that's very responsible of you, honey. I don't think that what you had is something that you can give them. I don't think you need to be worried because you're totally fine now. I think maybe you ate something weird or you have teeth coming in. You know, I don't think you had something communicable, something that you can give to somebody else. But she's very concerned about it. So we found one of her masks just in case she's nervous about it. But we were, because I was really surprised that she even brought it up. She was like, but I don't know where my mask is. Because in the afternoon yesterday, I was like, depending on how you're feeling, like we need to get some things, because I had told everybody that today I was going to make quiche, because we have so many eggs to use up. So I was like, I'm just going to make everybody a little quiche. My father-in-law will make a frittata so we don't have to worry about the gluten situation. And I was like, yeah, so I need to go to the store and get some things. And maybe we could swing by the library. And she was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get anybody sick. I was like, that's very sweet. Okay. That's totally fair. But yeah, at some point yesterday, if you watched Geekenders, you know, Avery, little Sia, was our guest, and she was great. She was so funny. And, she was talking about how she's been like picking up all of these new hobbies, and one of them is sewing. And I messaged her yesterday because I was like, bro, it's so weird that you were talking about sewing yesterday, because yesterday afternoon, like actual yesterday now, present day yesterday, right? Yesterday afternoon, Clark was like, Mommy, where's your sewing machine? And I was like, oh, it's upstairs. I haven't plugged it in since we moved. And I need to like adjust the tension and stuff. And she was like, can we do that? I want to learn how to use the sewing machine. I was like, okay. So I taught her how to use the sewing machine yesterday, and she made a scrunchie. I was like, Clarky, you did your first sewing machine project. She did all of the stitches on it. All of the cutting. She did all of it. I was like, bro, that's awesome. I'm so impressed. And now, of course, she's like, I want to make a dress, and I want to make an outfit for the dogs, and I want to make, and I was like, okay, we need to like work up incrementally here. Yeah, I was very proud. It was very cool. But anyway, today we made quiche. That's the most intensive thing we've done today is make quiche. My niece started sewing that young too and is now making dolls at age 10. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I definitely want her to feel encouraged with this. She's frustrated because I don't really own any patterns. I have like PDFs of patterns, but I don't have a working printer. So I was like, yes, we own that pattern technically, but I haven't printed it off. So we would have to go somewhere to print it in order to make, like, we can't make it right now, you know? Yeah, that's what I was saying to her. It was like, we should make like a circle skirt because that's so easy, you know? She has a little like summer dress that she loves that she wants to make another one of. And it's not like it's complicated necessarily. But that was another one where she was like, and I want to make it right now. And I was like, hold on. We don't have a pattern for this. We would have to make a pattern for it, which is fine. But, you know, we can't just wing this, you know, and have it turn out okay. It won't turn out okay if we wing it, I promise. Yeah, they just get excited. They get so excited about a new thing. And when they feel like they're succeeding at it, they want to like chase that feeling, which adults do too, right? It's just that adults typically, not always, but typically will have a better understanding of like what the process is in order to reach success again. Whereas I have to constantly remind, for any of you who don't know, my kid is 5. I have to constantly remind her like, well, hold on. We can't do that part yet. There's these parts first, I'm currently watching your playthrough of A Space for the Unbound after it got second in your game tournament. Dude, that game is so good. I hope you're enjoying. As an adult, I know not to start giant projects when I start a new hobby. Yeah. I still have to fight that urge. Because part of my brain is very trial by fire. Like, but what if I choose a big project? Why not choose a big project? And then just learn as I go. I know myself well enough now that if I choose a huge project and I'm learning as I go, it will take me years to finish that project, How many headaches does it cause the big project while still learning? Yeah. It's sort of like the craft version of getting data. How people will say like, yeah, it's better to make like big changes or go really hard and then get a bunch of data and feedback and then pare it back down. Than to do things like in little bits. You don't get as much data back that way. You get way more information. So it feels kind of like that. It's like you go too big, too fast, but you probably learn a lot along the way. And when I was doing like super beginner Python stuff, all of my friends that know how to code and know like coding languages and stuff were like, well, yeah, I mean, I learned more once I chose a project. When I chose a project and had something I wanted to learn how to do, even if it felt huge, I learned along the way. So, I will pass on boxes of unfinished projects to my spawn one day. Oh my goodness. So, is this the fart girl? The person who farted and got a bunch of subs, like 6 or 7 years ago? Yeah, that's me. Maybe. Yeah, in the good old days. Cheers, guys. Mm-hmm. Or the fart tattoo. Oh, that's true as well. I also put a temporary tattoo on my neck that said fart that lasted for like 2 weeks. think it was during secret Clarky building time. I don't think so. I don't think I was pregnant. Was I? Hold on. Audrey farts and it leads to a 500-person sub train 6 years ago. God damn it, you're right. Damn. Look at me with egg on my face. Link? No. You can search the same thing I did. I know. She turned 6 so soon. My baby. I was gonna put my hair in the scrunchie that Clark made, but Sam's nan and granddad are over, and I figured if she was like, you gotta see what I made, it wouldn't be fair if I had it when she could be showing it off herself because it's her thing. She decided she didn't want it though, is the funny thing. She like made it, and I had picked out the fabric because I was like, let's just try this project and see if it works, and if it does, then you can make it out of whatever fabric you want. And if it doesn't, then we didn't ruin like a fabric you really like. So she did the whole project. She finished it and then was like, but I really don't want it in this fabric. And I was like, that's fine. Remember, this was just the tester. We were just making this just to see if it would work. It still has value as like your first sewing machine project ever. And she was like, yeah, but I don't want it. I was like, okay. It's like, can I wear it? And she said, yeah, sure. So I guess it's mine now, and I'll wear it forever. Very proud of her. Oh, goodness. I mentioned it because I recently looked a bit through your most viewed clips. The fart train was there, of course, but also one of you from a year or so after mentioning how random people still show up and ask, is this the fart girl? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you're just known for stuff, and maybe those things aren't things you want to be known for, but you can't, like, deny that they happened, you know? No, it wants to run an ad. Why? Hold on. We'll run ads on our terms. What's this song called again? Spanish Flea, right? I think. I'm almost out of coffee. We just got here. The garage is being closed. It's very loud. It is called that. Yes. I knew it. Bro, I need to just get... Well, I'm going to be cutting my hair soon, probably. I need to just get a pack of hair ties and just keep them at my desk, is what I was going to say. You can get more coffee. It's a break. No, it's okay. It's okay. It is Dodger Coffee in the background. It is Dodger Coffee right next to me. Oh my goodness. Hashtag ad. Are you one of those parents that steals their kids' hair ties? No one owns any hair tie in this house. All 3 people that live in our house use hair ties. They all belong to everyone. I'll take that as a yes. Take it more as when we buy hair ties, it isn't, Clark, would you like these hair ties? It's, oh my God, we need some more hair ties. And we'll get rainbow ones because Sam doesn't give a shit what color hair tie is in his hair. I sometimes give a shit what color hair tie is in my hair. And Clark cares a lot about what color hair tie is in her hair. So we're a gradient. We're a gradient family. Oop, wrong, incorrect. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. For a while there, here is a thing though. For a while there, we always tried to put her hair up if it was like a PE day or something, because she actually doesn't like when her hair's up. But the days when she needed it to be up, I would put it up using hair ties that were like in her school colors. So for a while there, it was like, okay, these hair ties are school hair ties, right? But it turns out they don't give a shit. They don't care. You can wear whatever color hair tie you want. I see kids walk in there with like unicorn headbands and shit. So I'm like, I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think, and if it does, they have more important things to be worried about, you know? I don't know if glow-in-the-dark hair ties would really be a flex at primary school. I don't know that there are many times really that would come in handy, but you could argue that it's not about whether or not you can show it off all the time. It's about whether or not you get one opportunity to be like, oh yeah, by the way, my hair ties glow, bitch. Like, imagine the lights go out. I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is the lights going out is not an everyday occurrence. It would be like, I'm going to wear glow-in-the-dark hair ties, hoping that eventually one day something happens that means that I'm in the dark after being in the light. Immediately after being in the light for maximum glow. Have you ever had to explain to people when your kid says mom and dad are streamers? No, she doesn't say that. She says that we play video games, that our job is playing video games. And we'll say, yeah, it is. Sometimes the long con is worth it. It's true. I was staring at our all of the switch covers, like light switch covers in our house, are old. They're just ancient. And I was like, I think it works in some rooms to have these weird, like, brass light switch covers, but I would like to replace them eventually, I think. Yeah, like I said, it works in some rooms. They're like square, and they have weird little bumpies all over them. There's certainly a look. And all of them, the screws are like falling out, and you can't get them to like screw in and actually stay there. So you just know they've been there forever. Mm-hmm. Vintage. I explained the word vintage to my kid. Any of you who know like the old like 1930s book, Elsie Pittick, Clark loves that book. We were talking about World Book Day because I wouldn't necessarily say we went hard last World Book Day, but we did build a unicorn head out of cardboard. And she, to this day, is so proud of that. So she was like, I need to decide now what I'm going to be. And so we were going through all of her like favorite books, basically. And it came down to Amelia Bedelia, which would have been amazing. Findus from the Findus books, which would have been amazing. And Elsie Pittick. And she was like, if I'm allowed to bring a skipping rope to school on book day, then I want to be Elsie Pittick. And if not, so we need to ask them now. But she said, if not, then she wants to be Findus, which would be adorable because she'd get to wear cat ears and shit, and it would be great. But the Elsie Pittick one is like pretty easy, honestly. It would be like an old-timey looking nightgown because I asked her specifically like, okay, do you want to be Elsie Pittick when she's just like living her normal life? Or do you want to be Elsie Pittick when she's dreaming and meeting up with the Fae and learning how to skip? And Clark was like, obviously, I want to be dreaming Elsie Pittick. So we need an old-timey looking nightgown plus whatever is going underneath the old-timey looking nightgown. And then a skipping rope. And we need to replace the handles so that they look like sugar candy and French almond rock. Which would be fun. Yeah, like Petson and Findus. So, because Clark has now learned the joy of making something with a sewing machine, she's like, we have to make the nightgown. And I'm like, okay. I'm sure the words you're saying make sense to someone who's read the book. Okay, so this book is from 1937, I think. I don't know what time period it's supposed to take place in, but I'm pretty sure it's set in Ireland. It's one of Clark's favorite books, and it's about a little girl named Elsie Pittick who skips as never so. And she grows up in this little town where everybody skips. All the little girls skip. It's like the most revered thing for little kids to do. And she grows up watching all of the kids outside skip. And when she's, I think in the book, it's like 3 or 4 years old, 3 years old, something like that. she insists that she wants a skipping rope, and her mom's like, no, you're too little. And then her mom and dad wake up to her skipping with her dad's suspenders. And her dad's like, you know what, kid? I like your moxie. I promise you, I will make you a skipping rope tomorrow. And so her dad makes her a skipping rope. And from then on, she becomes like this, incredibly well-known kid for how little she is, but how well she skips. And it becomes so well-known that the Fae hear about her. And in the like Fae community in this village, they all skip as well. And so the leader of the skipping Fae, Andy Spandy, he gets informed about Elsie Piddick and is basically like, bring her to me. And so one of the fairies goes to Elsie while she's sleeping and says, I need to bring you to skip with the fairies, basically. Brings her, and Andy Spandy gives her like a test, like an on-the-fly test. And she skips, but she skips like a human, obviously, because she's a human. And Andy is like, you are an incredible skipper, but you could be amazing. And over the next year, every month, I will call to you in your dreams and teach you how to skip like the Fae do. And it's awesome. It's such a cool book. The ending is amazing. Like, it's like a decently long book for a little kid. Not like a novel or a novella size, but like where the story goes and the way that it ends is so good. It's so, so good. So yeah, that's Elsie Piddick. It's an old book about a girl that skips with the Fae. It's great. So yeah, so there's that. And then, Findus is from a long series of books, that are all like Findus or Findus something, right? But all of the books are about an old farmer and inventor named Petson, who has a cat named Findus. And Findus is just like a goofy, highly intelligent cat that's like Petson's best friend. And they just do stuff. They have like little adventures around the farm together, basically, is every single story. And they're really cute, and Clark loves them. Yeah, we have the books. We've also played one of the games that's like build a little machine to solve this problem sort of games, which is very cute. I'm an adult, but I love kids' books. I may buy this one. Do it. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Did you see Mog's Christmas got animated last Christmas? No! Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. We haven't read Mog books very much in the last like year, I want to say. Elsie, Elsie, Piddock, Piddock. The whole title isn't just Elsie Piddock, but I can't remember what the rest of it is, so we just call it Elsie Piddock. No, we were talking about World Book Day is coming up, and Clark wants to go really hard on her costume this year, so we were talking about who she's going to dress as, basically. It's called Elsie Piddock Skips in Her Sleep. There you go. Maybe I should get her other books. We were gifted Elsie Piddick by my mother-in-law. It used to be her book, and then she was like, I'm probably going to get rid of this book. And Clark was like, I'll take it. And so Clark came home from a play date one day with the book, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of this book, but sure, we'll read it. But no, I'm still reading The Uncommon Reader, I think is the name of it. I'm still working on that one. And I'm also I finally picked up Mercy again, which is a book that I bought a while back. So I'm reading both of those currently. The Mousehole Cat is a cute book. I went to the real Mousehole Village in Cornwall because of the book, and it's just full of cats. My mother-in-law, my father-in-law just had surgery. My mother-in-law, I went over and I brought her a couple of, she's studying horticulture right now, and I found 2 different books. One of them was like, The Edible Plants of England and Ireland, and the other one was that book. I can't remember the name of the author, but it's a gorgeous book, and it's called like The Secret Life of Plants, and it's about like what plants can be used as poisons, basically. And I was like, hey, I found these 2 books. I haven't looked at them in a long time, but like, you're studying plants right now. I don't know if this would feel like homework to you or if it would be fun to read, but if it would be fun, here you go. And she was like, I have a book for you as well that I was reading at the hospital. And she was like, it's definitely like a young adult like fantasy book, but I'm so hooked. Now I'm really curious what book it is. I'm so curious. Terry Goodkind's A Sort of Truth series? No, never. I was like I loved reading basically until I had to read for school, which apparently is a tale as old as time. When I say that, there's so many people that are like, same, dude. Which is unfortunate. And so I've read sort of like intermittently throughout my life. I'm trying to more consistently read because I really enjoy the feeling of finishing a book. I love finishing a book and like having all of these like feelings and opinions about the book, you know? Also, I've now read a couple of different books that have been on lists of like people will make book lists and be like, these are books that were so disturbing. I haven't stopped thinking about them. And I've read a couple of them now and been like, wasn't too bad. So I feel like it's not that I want to be disturbed. I'm not looking for something to disturb me, but if it's a good book that just happens to like have disturbing elements in it, trying to gauge whether or not I could power through whatever it is that's disturbing about it. Yeah. Can you give an example? Like Help Meet, which I had talked about last week, I think. I can't remember when I finished that book, but I loved it. It was in a list of like, these books are potentially very disturbing. And while reading it, I realized, and I also gave chat this heads up about the book, the disturbing quality of that book was body horror, which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with body horror. It's not, I don't have an issue with that. I can read as much of that as I want, really, and be totally fine. But if it was like, if it turned out, because I didn't get any kind of like a heads up on what it was that was disturbing about this book. I just went for it because so many people had said, oh, I love that book. If I had started reading it and it turned out that it was like really descriptive torture or something like that, I would have noped out of that immediately, right? So it really depends on like, what is it that's disturbing about this book, you know? Mount Char was another one that I read a while ago that showed up on somebody's list of like books that really like messed with me. And I was like, I mean, sure. But the elements in Mount Char were fine for me. That doesn't mean that they would be fine for everybody, but it was fine for me, you know? So when I look at those lists that are like, these are books that were so good, but they really fucked me up, I'm like, in what way? But why? Exactly. Mount Char, yeah, I completely agree. There's nothing about that book that I can think of that's like gross or like overly descriptive, or it's just like a weird fucky book, you know? Yeah, and I can appreciate if someone says, well, it'll have a better impact if you don't know. But, you know, I mean, we've talked about this before. Like the, you know, should there be warnings written inside of a book so that a reader can go into it with an understanding of what they're getting into? I've bought a couple of books now that at the very beginning, like right in the intro, will be like, hey, here's a list of warnings. Look at them or don't, you know? Here's stuff to expect in the book. I have 2 different books that have like a whole list inside. And I feel like that's nice. To me, that's nice to have. Because if I don't want to know that shit, then I can just skip it, you know? Including warnings does no harm. If you don't want the warnings, don't read the page. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. When I was younger, I was talking with my brother about how, as a warning right now, I'm about to talk about surgeries. So, not in a descriptive way, but I was talking with my brother about how I didn't understand why I wasn't creeped out by like a show where they were like doing, where you could just visually watch them doing like a whole ass surgery, right? And how I was totally fine with that no matter how graphic that got. But I hate watching like small incisions. Like I didn't like watching like a small cut happen, or, you know, things like that. Like what is decidedly like less traumatic for the body but would still like super freak me out at the time. And my brother was like, maybe it's because you can imagine what a small incision would feel like, but you can't even fathom, you can't even imagine what like open heart surgery would be like. So you're able to displace yourself. Whereas like something small, you can be like, well, I've had a small cut before. You know, it feels more like an accessibly, a thing that you could imagine in a more accessible way, you know? When things get extreme, they become unrelatable at times. Yeah, for sure. Oh, somebody was asking if sewing is like has surpassed skating now. No. My kid has spent the entire day in her roller skates and was trying to walk up a gravel hill in roller skates and was like, I'm tired. And I was like, yeah, dude. You're wearing roller skates everywhere and not somewhere where you can skate. Like, you're having to walk in them. They're heavier than normal shoes. It makes sense that you're tired. I got a list from our family members because a couple of the kids are getting really into biking, and doing like small kids BMX tracks, which is really cool. And I was like, man, I would love to find like something that has, you know, lots of options for skating. And it turned out that a couple of Sam's siblings were like, oh, I know where a really good skate park is. And I was like, oh, I should have just asked. Yeah, she's going to be like Rock Lee, dude. She's going to be like, oh, I guess I'll take the shoes off. What if the like dust that goes in the air, what if that was glitter? Was there a book where you read the first 100 or so pages and they felt boring, but the 101st page got you hooked? I'm sure that has happened before. I have really bad patience with books. I give up on books pretty easily. So, unfortunately, my like DNF list, so to speak, is long. It's very long. Hi, Shason. Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much enjoyed all of American Gods, I think. I'm trying to think of books that are like long that I really just like stuck with it and pushed through it. American Gods was pretty good all the way through. It's not that there were times when I was a little bored, but it would, yank me back in pretty easily. I don't know. Yeah, conceptually I'm fine with, and I understand the idea of needing to like world build or whatever else in order for the rest of the book to be appreciated and make sense. But there are so many books that I can read where I don't have to, like there's so many books out there that just sort of gradually do that as you're reading, and it doesn't have to be boring in the lead up. I force myself to finish books I dislike way too often. I wonder sometimes, I think one of the reasons that it's really easy for me to just drop a book is because if I'm talking with somebody about hobbies, I would not ever say that I'm a reader. I enjoy reading books. I like knowing that I have a book that I'm reading pretty much all the time. But I've never been like, yeah, I'm a reader. I really love books. And I don't know if that's sort of created a situation for me where I just don't, I don't know, make myself finish books often enough. But I also don't read super fast. So like I've talked about my sister can read like a novel or two in a day if she has nothing else going on. She just reads super fast. She scarfs them. She's constantly reading. So for her to start a book and be like, meh, she'll still push through because it's not wasting that much time for her, I guess. It's not going to take her that much time to just finish it. I don't know. I'm very I am in awe of people that just sit and are like, I'm reading this book now, and just read the whole thing. I think that's so awesome. Was I heard that threw books on a pile when done? Yeah, I've told this story before of how I have this like really vivid memory for some reason of visiting her and opening her closet, and her closet was just full of books. This was before digital books, guys. But yeah, she and her friends and my mom and everybody, they would all just trade books. So she would just have tons of books and be like, well, I'm not getting rid of them because I'm gonna give them to so-and-so, right? But it was like, but there's like 100 books in your closet. If you were to stop reading a book for an extended period of time, would you remember what happened in the book? No, absolutely not. I don't even remember what happened in books that I've finished and I know I enjoyed. No. And that's definitely one of the reasons that books don't get finished for me. If something in my life interrupts me, I'm like, welp, I have to start over. You know? Yeah. After I'm done with Uncommon Reader, which is so cute, by the way. It's been so cute to read. Just like a super chill, cute read. After that, I'll probably try to read Sour Candy. And then Mercy will be the thing that's like not my horrifying thing that I'm reading. Or it's going to be another situation like these other books. And I'm going to go into Sour Candy thinking like, okay, at what point is this book going to be like too much for me? And I'm going to finish it and go, that was fine. You know? I think there's value in setting a book down and coming back to it. I've done this with a few books. Sometimes it's a book I know I'll enjoy, but it's not the right time for me to fully appreciate it. So I DNF for now, and then I go back to it at a later date. That's fair. It's like starting a movie and being like, I'm not in the right headspace for this movie. I don't think I'll ever finish watching Joker. I started watching Joker, got about 15 minutes into it, and was like, I'm not in the right headspace for this movie. And I don't know that I'll ever be. I just don't think I want to watch that movie. It's the same with Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems, I'm like, I'm okay with just accepting that maybe I just don't want to watch this movie. Yeah, but like Beef is also apparently very anxious sort of vibe. And I'm so excited to sit and watch Beef. I was never excited to watch Uncut Gems. Sometimes your imagination is the better ending. That's a different sort of experience though, I think. I've done that with lots of shows where I get really into the show and then I just don't watch the end of it because I'm sad about it ending and I'm worried I won't like the ending. And two shows come to mind where I just sucked it up and watched the end and was really happy with the ending. Gravity Falls. I didn't watch the end of that for a really long time. And when I finally did, I was like, that was great. And Good Place. The Good Place, I also didn't watch the end of for a decent amount of time. And was really happy with how it ended. So. When our new remote shows up, I will watch Ted Lasso. I can't watch it right now. I didn't put off anything with Hannibal. I just watched Hannibal. But I think I'm not alone in that I assumed that Hannibal would come back one day. And it hasn't, and that's fine. It's not fine. I have to be fine with it, okay? Mad spoke about it like yesterday that he thinks it'll return. Really? That would be very interesting. Is that like Sherlock returning one day never? Here's the thing about Sherlock is it's in a different situation than Hannibal. With Sherlock, the community and the viewers turned against the show. There isn't anything. I don't think anybody would bother bringing BBC Sherlock back because the viewers don't really want it back. Does that make sense? With Hannibal, though, the viewers want Hannibal back really bad. Yeah. Yeah. The community really hated the last few episodes of Sherlock. I agree. I think they really they lost it, unfortunately. So, and at this point, you know, some like at the time, I didn't even know who Benedict Cumberbatch was when BBC Sherlock started, and now, you know, like I don't think he would want to come back and do Sherlock. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If you never watched Elementary and you would like a fantastic Sherlock TV show, watch Elementary. It's so good. The character development in it is fantastic. Lucy Liu is like such a good Watson. The acting's great. It's like it's so good. Your mid rewatch on Elementary. I've been thinking about rewatching it. Sam got really into Elementary with me. It's a shame that show got so overshadowed by the BBC one. But I do feel like I think Elementary still did really well with like Americans who primarily watch like cable television still, or like, you know. And I also think it has, again, a better reputation as a show. You know, it's, I wouldn't necessarily recommend BBC Sherlock to people as a whole. But Elementary, I recommend to people all the time. Yeah, Avery was such a good guest for Geekenders. We had so much fun. shoesies back on. I actually really like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. I enjoy them a lot. The first one was absolutely one of my comfort movies when I was in college. I would just put it on all the time. The music is so good in that movie, and it's just like kind of perfectly goofy, you know? It's just like, it's stylish action adventure Sherlock Holmes. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. It is. It's fully, yeah. And some people hate that. Someone said it's full on superhero Sherlock. It is 100%. It's like he uses his power of deduction to also be an incredible boxer and like all of these other things, right? Yeah. Yes. But it sort of just owns that, you know? That's true. Yeah. I also just like them leaning into, in the Robert Downey Jr. movies, for anybody who hasn't watched them, they really lean into like Sherlock Holmes being a mess. Just an absolute mess of a person. And Watson winds up being like the straight man in the situation, right? Which is already the dynamic, but it's the way that they do it in those movies is so funny. It's why so many of us are like, yeah, they're just goofy. They're just goofy movies because like Sherlock's is just messy. He's just a messy bitch in the whole time. Oh my God, my mom loved Castle. I never really watched it. We had so many of those like, oh my God, he's so smart. Detective shows. It came out all at the same time, it felt like. Psych is another one of those. Psych is fully, if we were to make like, you know, like an axis here, one side would be goofy shenanigans and one side would be like serious detective shows. Psych is fully all the way on this side. I used to love Psych. I adored that show in college. A Dodger detective show Spectrum infographic. That would be really fun. That would be really fun to do. Mentalist was another one. Yeah, I think it would be specifically like shows where the main character is, oh my gosh, he's so smart in some way, right? Psych, he's been trained since he was a little kid to be like extremely observant. So observant that he can convince people he's psychic, right? That's the pitch. That's the pitch of the show. And it's funny. It's just a really funny show, but it's still that same trope of like, this guy, damn, that brain. You know, it's the same concept. Yeah, House is great. House is based off Sherlock. Remember anyone else who's seen Pushing Daisies? Oh my God. I know so many people who love Pushing Daisies. What a good show. I haven't seen that in years though. I would love... I complain about this a lot, so I'm not going to do it in like a long format, but all of the Sherlock Holmes games, I always try them. And we've gotten to the point now where they try to incorporate too much other shit into the game, right? It's not just a detective game anymore. There's too much other shit going on. And I really do miss just the like silly old school Sherlock Holmes games now. Crimes and Punishment was so good. Yeah, that was a really good one. Have you seen the detective anime from the author of Hitman Reborn? I have not. Yes. I was talking about that with someone. Oh my God. Yes. Puff Maggie said it needs to be more like Golden Idol. So that wouldn't necessarily be going back to old Sherlock Holmes games, but I had said to somebody like, I love that Golden Idol is purely about observation. It is literally just like, look at this snapshot moment in time, find all of these bits of information, and use that to figure out what happened. And it's so satisfying and so fun. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, they announced a new Golden Idol game. Hello, Arnar. Thank you so much for all the gifted subs. Welcome to the Cat Gang, guys. Thank you. Be sure to thank Arnar for those. Yeah. I very rarely play a game and go, I wish I could just wipe my brain and play this game all over again. And Golden Idol 100% made me feel that way. Yeah. Oberdin was so fun for that as well. Oberdin was one of those games that I didn't think was ever going to be finished. And then when it was such a like unique delight to play. Aside from the fact that my eyes hurt the whole time. Outer Wilds too. Outer Wilds stresses me out. So I have to watch other people play Outer Wilds. I don't enjoy playing it, unfortunately. So many people have told me it's their favorite game ever, and I just can't play it. I never look on itch, and I really should. The root trees are dead. Run mystery. I don't like that. The year is 1998. A private jet belonged to the Root Tree Corporation has crashed. On it were the Root Tree sisters and their parents. Combined, they are worth over $1 billion. Due to the eccentricities of their great-great-grandfather, Elias, their money must be redistributed to the rest of the family. But who is actually a blood relative? That is where you come in. Armed only with the power of your mighty dial-up modem, scour for photos, books, articles, and other evidence. Then you'll make connections and deductions based on the family relationships you uncover. With every spot on the tree you fill in correctly, the names and photos left in your possession will have fewer and fewer places to go, but the evidence will be harder and more obscure to find. Fuck, that sounds so fun. Is it good? Have any of you played it? Very good game. This was really fun. It's called The Root Trees Are Dead on itch.io. It's really good. Okay. Okay. I'll leave it up then. Play it. It's a game where you want to stop and smell the flowers, so to speak, but you're also timed. Outer Wilds, yeah. Here, I'll type it. There, the name of the game is in chat. Oh, it's trying to run an ad again. Just run 1 minute. Because we have to go in like 15, 20 minutes anyway. I wish I had a hair tie. Oh well. If I recall correctly, Root Trees has AI art. That's good to know. Itch is just like a browser-based place to host games, yeah. Algebral? What is this? Add up, multiply, clone, and divide your party members to beat up monsters. You control a boar king with magical mathematical powers. Oh my goodness. I never look on itch. I should. Yeah. That one's very fun. The math is simple. Yeah, a lot of games on itch are free or like pay what you want, but not all of them are. Yes. Tomorrow, Summer and I want to start Bread and Fred. I said that I wanted a little time at the start of stream to start putting together a list of demos, things that are on people's radar, and then we plan to play demos for the rest of the week. So yeah, we'll be doing lots of demos this week. Demo Fest starts at 6 p.m. GMT. Right. We're not doing it tomorrow. You mean like they might not be listed? So it'll be hard to make the list. Is that what you're saying? Gotcha. Okay. If that's the case, that's fine. We'll just hang. Let's find Larry. Goodness. Okay. We're back. Yeah, I've been doing connections. There's another one. What's the other one? Sets. Sets is the other one that I've been trying to do. Sets is weird for me though. Sets is hard. Connections I thought was the same as, what's one where you type a word and it tells you like how far away you are from the word of the day? I thought it was the same as that. Contexto, thank you. Yeah, I was like, not Wordle. Contexto. I thought they were the same thing. And then I went to look at connections because I saw a video where somebody was like, hey, whoever it is that made the New York Times connections today, are you okay? Because what the fuck was that? And I was like, so I went to look and realized it was a totally different game. So basically connections, you're given a grid with a bunch of different words on it, and you have to figure out what 4 words go together. So all of them, there's 4 lists made up of 4 words each. And so you have to figure out what 4 words go together to make these 4 lists. They are, yeah. Sometimes you'll be like, wait, but like 6 of these words feel like they go together. And then once you actually see the list, you're like, oh. Okay, fine. That was us today. Okay, hold on. I won't show it on stream because I don't want to spoil it for people, but I will try to do connections live right now. New York Times connections. Play. Okay. Only Connect is a British quiz show that has a round with the same format. Oh, interesting. No. I've made 2 mistakes already. Come on, man. Okay, I got one. I got one. I got one. Okay, next. Which color? The top one, the blue one. If English isn't your first language, it also adds up. Some of it is so very specific and rarely used. Yeah, that's true. Yes, I definitely want the redeeming a sub with Perbucks thing to open back up again. I need to start pursuing that again because I got really frustrated with them not being able to fix that for me. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Nope. I only got one. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Yeah, they'll put, someone referred to it in chat as red herring words. yeah, there will be words that are put in there on purpose that can apply, that feel like they apply to like a couple different groups of words. What are you playing? I was playing Connections. It's a New York Times puzzle game. Post your result. I already closed it, dude. I already closed it. Isn't that basically Puzzgrid? I've never heard of Puzzgrid, so maybe Puzzgrid. Welcome to the grid. You have 3 minutes to solve the puzzle. The grid has 4 groups, each containing 4 words. Click a word, click again to unselect. Oh yeah, it looks like it's the same, except you're timed. You only have 3 minutes to do it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's exactly the same. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. Okay, I got one. No, I don't like that. I'm closing it. I don't like it. The puzzle was so this is here we go. So now I'm being put in that position. So the puzzle that popped up for today, or whatever the most recent puzzle is for Puzzgrid, is a bunch of different names of newspapers. A bunch of different names of newspapers, and then a bunch of different names of like game shows, but they all sort of blur together to look like they're all kind of the same thing. So in that situation, if you don't know shit about different newspapers, you might be really confused, like I was. Anywho, I think I can hear my little niece outside, so I'm gonna start wrapping up here so I can go be auntie. But let's look at the activity feed. Silent Zeno, thank you for the 89 months. Cordry for the 113. I want you all to know that when I did this, I watched it happen out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, something's falling. And before I panicked, realized it's my chair that I am moving. Anywho, Cordry, thank you for the 113. Firestorm for the 47. Chiyuku for the 92. Legacy Starkiller for the 55. King of Sloth for the 77. Spoopy Sparrow for the 51. Pebble Gem for the 5. Erwinga for the 39. Xander Prime for the 56. Citro for the 98. Which is 8 years, isn't it? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Twigbot, thank you for the 31. Rebecca Neko for the 90. Arnar for all the gifted subs. Thank you again, bud. Wicked Magica for the 5. Barbecue Head for the 112. Which is... It would be... Hold on. 110 is 9 years. Right? It's nothing. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. Southern Vices, thank you for the 77. I was watching your most watched clips of all time and was having a blast. Do you ever watch them to reminisce? No, I never watched them. I never watched them, to be honest. If I happen to stumble onto one that's of like my kid or something, I'll watch that. But it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing. It's still a lot of months to be subscribed, and I still appreciate it very much. They were saying it's nothing in terms of whether or not it's an anniversary because I have trouble with math. So you watched them all during a 10-year anniversary stream? I know. I was there. I remember. They're asking, do I ever on my own time just like hang out and watch my own clips? And I'm saying I don't really. Kitten also redeemed a cheers with the last little dregs of my coffee. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll be playing some games with Summer and maybe figuring out what we're going to do demo-wise for the rest of the week. Maybe not. We'll see whether or not that information is available to us. But thank you all for being here. If you're having an amazing day, thank you for coming and spreading that joy. And if you're having a terrible day, I'm glad you were here. I hope we cheered you up a little bit. But either way, take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Boop. Giomi is currently playing Dead by Daylight. Let's go look. Let's go look. Nice. Alrighty. Go for it, gang. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time. Spread love and joy. And we've got Sunforged tonight. If you watch Sunforged, if you want to see some D&D, it's very fun. So you can come watch that on Joe Fudge's channel. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.